Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Lizette Navarette, and I have the honor of representing the CEOs and trustees of the 112 and 72 community college districts throughout our state. And I thank you very much for inviting community colleges to share their perspectives and really your attention to this. The emphasis of adult education and workforce preparation systems has become reinvesting and reshaping, and we've taken seriously the element of reshaping. We believe that this is one of the defining education issues of the year and really sets a precedent for how community colleges and K-12 will work together in the future. We acknowledge Governor Brown for presenting a comprehensive approach to workforce development. It's the first time we've seen an entire budget focused just on all the areas where the state invests on workforce preparation. But we also thank the legislature for your continued dedication to this important policy matter. Community colleges agree that adult education is key for all of the statewide efforts aimed at getting more students into programs that are more closely linked to workforce needs and that better coordinate the programs and services between colleges and schools. Locally, our colleges recognize that these efforts can't be tackled by a single system, but rather by two. And we support the governor's perspective in the adult block grant proposal to build upon the local, the 70 adult education regional consortia as established by AB 86. And while each consortia is still working through the nuances, they are in a vastly improved position to work together than they were 2 years ago. But looking deeper at the proposal and really with the plan moving forward, a key lesson that our community colleges would like to stress is the importance of a local fiscal decision-making structure that is both accountable, that is sustainable, and is efficient. Most importantly, we are looking for a balanced voice between community colleges and K-12. Colleges have found that the AB 86 process worked more effectively when a broad range of stakeholders were engaged and consulted. However, being cognizant of not adding another layer of bureaucracy or assuming that the stakeholders are all the same in each of the regions. An alternative would be an option of creating a local plan with set criteria that should be addressed and a local engagement strategy before approval. We support the one-year transition. We think it's important to ensure that there are no services lost to students and that we can rebuild programs in adult education schools where they're needed and where there is a key demand. It's key to the collaborative service delivery model that this state needs. But in out years, colleges would like to see the focus shifted on local development of innovative programs that can accelerate learning and align curriculum. We believe that together, community colleges and K-12 have the opportunity to really transform the programs and services that are offered to the populace who need them. The Community College League also encourages the consideration in the proposal moving forward to include an investment in a basic statewide data infrastructure to improve coordination and startup resources in areas where there are limited adult education services, but there have been major demographic shifts. And Access continues to be a key priority for community colleges. Non-credit students don't have the opportunity for financial aid, therefore increasing their need. So overall, community colleges, CEOs and trustees will continue to advocate for a system that allows regional collaboration and flexibility, but more importantly, delivers on student unmet needs and provides a reshaped system that works more effectively. Thank you.
I had a question. Question to Cynthia. You mentioned that your La Puente Unified School District adult ed gives the AA degree.
We are working actually with a community college
to have our vocational nursing program be able to transform to not only be that certificate, but to be an AA degree. Yes.
But you haven't yet.
Oh, we actually have initial accreditation from the Council of Occupational Education as a school district, but feel that because of the consortium partnership that we had with Rio Hondo, that they would come in and provide the general education college credits, and then it allowed all of our students that took the LVN program to also be matriculated with Rio Hondo and receive an AA degree from them as well.
But haven't yet awarded any of those?
No, we just got approved. So January of 2016, please come.
We will now move to hear from members of the public. Members of the public who have statements or comments, please make your way to the microphone. You will have 1 minute to speak. We want to hear from everyone, so please respect time limits so that I don't have to cut anybody off. You have 1 minute. And if you would, please state your name and whatever group you may be representing.
Testing. Still not working? Testing. 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 There we go. Thank you. Commissioner Irma Becerra Nunez, California Coalition to Save Older Adult Education, instructor, Los Angeles Unified School District, Program for Older Adults. I handed out one set of 2 packets with hundreds of letters and thousands of signatures on petitions urging our superintendent and Board of Education to fund older adult education through the general fund. Their response has been that because the governor and legislature chose not to fund this program, that they do not have the finances and will permanently cut older adult ed in June 2015. Senior citizens represent the millions of baby boomers who are the sandwich generation helping raise their grandchildren and are the caregivers for the elderly and disabled. They are tax-paying voters who are urging you, their representatives, to please find a way, any way to fund older adult education, which has been misrepresented as recreation, which is also providing health, education, safety, literacy in technology, etc.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, hi, George Porter, Berkeley, advocate for sustaining the broad mission, outgoing chairman of the Berkeley's Commission on Aging. I have a petition here actually just asking for continued funding, designated funding for these programs as they exist now so that we don't lose programming. I really think it's disingenuous to think that we're going to stay alive if we're required to be through the school districts. The other thing that troubles me is there's this ongoing argument about what are these classes, and they're constantly referred to as being enrichment or recreation. Bottom line
10 seconds.
Bottom line, these are very important to seniors, and characterizing them as basically claiming that somehow if those are cut, you're not going to hurt them. You very much will hurt your senior population if you cut these classes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Andre Pacino, principal of Fresno Adult School, WIB director, as well as a member of the State Center Adult Education Consortium. I'm basically here to stand and represent of the Central Valley Adult Schools. Although the LEO gave a report that 30% of the adult schools statewide have been closed, actually in the Valley from Modesto to Bakersfield, 50% have been closed, majority of those in small districts. So there's a great discrepancy in what the services are provided, and we know, working closely with our community colleges, that the services to those districts would not be held, and a lot of adults would lose access to that. One thing I want to do before I end, Member Medina, as being a former school board member, moving the funding structure away from school boards is a difficult conversation for me as a principal to be able to have. So providing a dedicated funding source as well as funding to the AB 86 consortium work, which is greatly needed to behavioral transition students, is key. One more thing before I leave is we had a conversation years ago about CTE not being the best choice for students because all students will go to college. Now we're back saying we need to reinvest in CTE. Are we going to have the same conversation again when we say adult education is not every adult will go to college, and realize that not every adult will, and have that same conversation again saying maybe we need to refund the system? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Wendy Plew with the California Teachers Association and member of the second iteration of the AB 86 work group. Initially, we had concerns over faculty participation levels, but ultimately we're happy with the collaboration between the Department of Education and Chancellor's Office in getting the faculty voice heard on the AB 86 work group report to the legislature, which we generally support. You've heard a lot about the allocation board. I'm not going to go into more detail about that. We share all the concerns that were raised here today and would much rather see a dual funding stream continue with money flowing directly to the LEAs with oversight from the Department of Education and Chancellor's Office, and that money be allocated according to the consortium plans. Thank you.
Thank you.
Craig Brown for the Correctional Education Division of the Hacienda La Puente School District. This program has hardly been mentioned in this debate, but yet it's being swept into this program as the administration has proposed it. The program serves about 8,000 units of ADA at the magnificent sum of $2,000 per unit. Yesterday there was a joint hearing on the other side, stressed the importance of correctional ed, how it paid off 5-to-1 through reduced recidivism. Given correctional realignment, the state has a real interest in this program reducing recidivism. If you sweep it in, inmates have no constituency. I don't care how you construct the allocation board, whatever. The first time money gets tight, the program will go away and the state will lose, as well as the inmate population. We're working with the administration to find a solution to maintain the base while at the same time making more opportunity to deal with offenders and ex-offenders.
Thank you.
Pam Lopez on behalf of the Montebello Unified School District. We appreciate the concerns that were raised about allocation committees. We have the similar concerns. I won't belabor the point. Also, with regard to the development of accountability measures, it's more important to get it right than to get it done fast. So we urge caution, and we also have concerns about linking those accountability measures to LCFF. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, members, Mike Dillon representing the California Library Association. The public libraries have been mentioned here a couple times today, and we wanted to acknowledge the Department of Finance for including adult ed that libraries provide in their recently released TBL, trailer bill language. We work with the Department of Finance, particularly Mr. Osmena, during the fall, and provide a lot of information on the literacy services that many libraries provide, particularly those at the very, very low learning level, those between 0 and 5th grade reading ability, 0 to 6th grade. The programs enable them to get to a level where then they can get into the programs that K-12 and community colleges offer. Our library folks estimate that there are 4 million people in need and 4,000 on a wait list right now. So what we're really asking for is just a seat at the table, and we'll be before the subcommittees asking for some non-98 money. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman and members. Tristan Brown with the California School Employees Association. I'd like to echo the comments about the issues with the allocation boards, and also have permission from the California Federation of Teachers to talk about the non-98 entities that might be deciding where 98 funding is going to go. We have a serious problem with that. But in general, also, just the level of participation that has been in this process. I was a member of the AB 86 work group in the second iteration as well. Read reports that said, what is your level of involvement with faculty, students, classified staff, et cetera? And their example was one meeting on a Tuesday from 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. when a lot of students are in class or classified and faculty are working. Not exactly the type of stakeholder input we would like to see, and hopefully for the future engage in more stakeholder input, sort of like what we see in other areas of education funding, so that everyone can have a seat at the table. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Barbara Barron with the California EDGE Coalition, a coalition of business, labor, workforce, and social justice organizations. We've been arguing for many years now that reform of California's system of basic skills education is critical to the future of this state, and we agree with Senator Liu, with the Lejanel's office, and others on this panel that integration of the two systems is critical to making that happen. Therefore, we would agree with the ledge analyst recommendation to incent forward movement on SB 173, accountability and assessment and so on measures. We also would have real concerns. We understand that there are real problems with the accountability board or real questions that we all need to think through, but we would urge that we not implement a governance model or a funding model that moves us back in the direction of two systems rather than forward to greater integration.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Leilani Aguinaldo B. on behalf of the Los Angeles Unified School District. We do appreciate the governor's commitment to adult education and ensuring stability for existing programs such as LA Unified's, which is the largest adult school program in the country. However, we do have a number of concerns, not to belabor the issue, but allocation boards, same concerns that have been raised by many here today. The one point that I do want to emphasize is that in considering how money flows from the state down to the LEAs, we need to ensure that we're minimizing uncertainty for districts as they're crafting local budgets, given education code mandates for timelines for how districts craft their budget. Otherwise, you're risking the existing stability for programs that already exist and are doing great work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Kristen Pursley. I'm an ESL teacher. I'm excited about the potential of the consortia, but I'm here today to request action to save the programs like older adult and parent education, which will be defunded next year because they're excluded from the consortia. These programs, which save lives, have been systematically pushed into oblivion with no serious debate about their merits or the price the state will pay for abandoning them. So far, all arguments for the value of these programs have come from the grassroots. We are citizens, taxpayers, teachers, and students, but we've only received dismissive and empty answers, like 10 programs are too many. No discussion of how and why 4 programs were selected for destruction. No response to our concerns about the people who will be hurt by the loss of these programs. The pain is beginning. The pink slips are being issued. Our consortium is losing an adult school because it has a large older adult population. Thank you.
My name is Ethel Murphy. I'm from Berkeley, California, and I want to repeat what I said a year ago to this committee. Older adult education is not just entertainment and recreation. It's a lifesaver to many people who take advantage of it. It's what brought me here to this committee, and it should continue. And I want to emphasize what the previous callers, the previous spokesman said. We need these programs.
Good afternoon. Suzanne Rodriguez, principal of Dinuba Alternative Ed, which includes Dinuba Adult School. I'm also a member of the State Center Consortium, and I'm here to represent my community of Dinuba, as well as Dinuba Adult School students. We've lost our program funding. We previously had a robust LVN program, as well as other CTE programs and other educational programs. We now are only down to basic education courses, and our community is in need of more. We need to continue separate funding for adult schools and consortia funding. And this funding is not only an academic issue, but it's a huge economic issue for communities across California and in Dinuba. Thank you.
My name is Ruth Dunham. I'm a taxpayer for 50 years, California taxpayer, California homeowner for 45 years. I want to say something about then and now. Then, 1963, as a young woman itching to leave the Midwest, I chose California to live and work in. Why? Not because the salaries for BA graduates beat out those on the alternative, namely the East Coast. Wasn't that at all. True, climate was an attraction. It encouraged being outdoors. One encountered other members of the public. And it fostered local civic life. We had something called Walker Street Plus neighborhood organization in the neighborhood I've lived in for 45 years.
10 seconds.
One of the things it did was encourage high school graduation by giving dollars to kids in the neighborhood who made it through high school. Fairness. It was the fairness of this huge state government and what it believed in that drew me to California.
Ma'am, your time's up.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hi, Ashley Satude on behalf of the North Orange County Community College District. First off, would just like to offer our district up as a resource of additional information on how really successful non-credit programs can work in the community college system, and also how successful our region's regional consortium has worked so far. We're very supportive of the adult education block grant proposal, other than we have concerns that have already been shared by the members about the allocation committee, and we'd like to align additional comments with the Community College League of California. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to thank the witnesses for participating and assure you that the information you shared today will continue to build on our conversations that are taking place regionally. I look forward to working with all of you in the coming legislative session as we continue to address the needs and work and looking for ongoing solutions. So I thank you.